All right. Should be live now. All right. Okay. Muting the preview. Thing seems to be working. Not losing. Not dropping. Not dropping any frames. And well, light seems to be weird with the camera right now. I'm a bit bright, aren't I? Let me see. We can change that a bit. Am I too bright? This would be more like it, I guess. So. Alright. Good enough. Welcome back. Tonight is something that I've been tinkering with for a while now, and I figured if I was going to do some of it tonight, might as well stream it, and that might be, you know, interesting for some of you guys there that are wondering, you know, how do you prepare for new format when you, one, don't have all the cards spoiled yet, or two, you do have all cards supported, but you don't have any way to do it in game yet. You know, and it all boils down to how do you simulate games, and how do you keep track of the deck ideas that you have. Usually, you'd want to, you know, centralize this all into a file, readily accessible. And if we're speaking about a paper product, then you can just print proxies and then start working with proxies right away. Since we're living in a digital world, and basically everyone from my team is at the very least a few thousand kilometers away, what I've been doing is just working out of a spreadsheet, really very simple, with a very simple way to try and you know, see simple hands and try to do some matches between deck ideas and see how the sequencing works, right? Because there are some things that are way easier to figure out when you're actually playing the games. So this is one of the things that, you know, been doing. I know a lot of people, a lot of serious competitive players to do the same thing. You see teams being, you know, creating these tools for to work and to cooperate all in the same files, and it usually boils down to, you know, the same few basics. But here what I wanted to do is do some amount of theory crafting, you know, working on deck ideas for the new set, and trying to figure out if they work or if they don't work. And we're going to test them here on the stream tonight. I have no clue, you know, if these things are good, but it's no. I just enjoy like doing the theory crafting and testing the deck ideas, even if they're bad. It may provide some very interesting insights on what to expect from the new set, and maybe you know, get a head start on the list that you want to play, and get some conclusion on sequencing for some of the new cards that haven't been spoiled yet. So one of the things that I wanted to work on tonight was the about 2 streams ago we worked out on an MC and Crusader Underworld list for Shoku, and I wanted to basically give it a go, see if we can see how it works against known decks, you know, current known decks, and see if it has any merit for the idea itself. And if it has, then we can start putting in more effort into testing and refining the list. But you know, this is where I wanted to start tonight, and we'll see how things goes. This spreadsheet is still a very well working progress, so if you have any suggestions or any comments, please share them. Also, this is all out of the stream notes, so if you want to have access to it, you can up on the stream notes, and there will be a tab, Shard of War, Scars of War, Deck Tester, Standard. I'm not going to lock it down, so if you guys want to see it and duplicate it into your own Google document to start working or filling with it, then go ahead and do it. Should be fairly straightforward. There's nothing complicated with it. Just fiddle with the layout a bit, but that's about it. So without further ado, these are, hey, look at that. Okay. Alright, so we've got the list that we worked on last time. We figured that these quantities worked to play MC, Etcher of Nilzan, and also while playing Crusader. And we're playing, Ruinier Eurofence as well. We're playing a lot of very, very high power, high value cards for their costs very early in the game. And the rest is a bit of control, like a series of nice removal from blood with the Aerofalls and the Strangles, and just really good value troops there, and a lot of synergies with the Crypt. So this is a list which came out. The gems here are between parentheses. So Sacrifice gem on MC, Brown on Crypt Curse Knight, on Pesky Pipit as well. There's a few cards that I don't like in this list, and maybe we try to create an immortal version of this list. But tonight I think we'll just keep at standard for now. Running 21 resources right now. Okay, yeah, that doesn't work. We've got 25 resources, so we've got to cut one. Interesting. I thought I had, and this is 60, right? So it means that we have a card slot open. Okay. Do we run? Do we have enough? We have as many bloods as we have wild. Oh, we have one more wild. Okay. Huh. Let's just remove the extra wild shard here, and now we're at 59. We've got room for one more card. Not going to... Hey, Roy, how are you doing tonight? I think we're just going to... I'm not quite sure where we were at the last time we worked on this one, so I'm just going to add another PovYazukan. It's just a good card. And we're just going to add a PovYazukan in the list here, just to wrap up with the to have 60 cards to test with, right? So this we will be testing tonight. So this is Blood Wild mid-range. We'll call it Blood Wild mid-range. Champion is Shoku. This is MC Crusader, CU Crusader, and the date right now is 17/02. I like to keep track of the dates of when I had my ideas, because when I start doing these tests, sometimes I have multiple versions of the list, so every time I create a new version of the list, I just create a new column, and I have a date and I have a version, so I know which one I'm testing with. So, what do you think about Buffalo? It is a cool card. I really don't think that it is constructed playable, but it's a very cool card. I mean, there's a lot of text there. The base stats for 4 are really not there, and Diligence Trigger that creates a random that summon a random non-unique buffalo, and then there's random stats, so you don't know what you get. Some of them are great, some of them are not that great. The fact that it's diligence, it's not the other word. Maybe if there's somewhere an engine where you can exhaust and ready your troops, then you can start creating more troops. That could be interesting. The fact that there is no threshold on this card is also something that might matter. It's unique, you cannot have multiples of them. It's a cool card. I don't think it will ever see constructed play. Not unless we have a rotation, because the 4-cost cards are pretty darn good right now, and you need to be doing something special to be played in constructed at this point. For limited, I love this card. I mean, there's going to be a decent amount of mobilize in limited, and the buffalo is going to be a sweet target for it, and then you start gaining a lot of value for the card. So if you're lucky and you get flight early, then you can continue to attack and create more buffaloes, and this is a card that snowballs really well. It's just a matter of triggering diligence, and most of the diligence cards that have strong diligence triggers, they don't enable themselves, right? And this one maybe but attacking on turn 5 with a 2/3, there's a very significant chance that it won't survive, right? So you don't plan to attack with it to trigger diligence. So it means that you plan to play this on turn 4 or later, and then mobilize it or exhaust it with some other means without attacking, and then you start creating buffalo on the next turn, and hopefully you get the good ones and you can start rolling with it. But the video is just awesome. the breakdown video is something, but if you follow Twitter, Infamous Neo posted a video of the Power Rangers for the Buffalo. I really strongly advise to go and watch it. It's just a masterpiece, to say the least. Alright, so what are we going to do tonight? We're going to do some deck testing for the new standard format. That list here has been, since we worked it on 2 weeks ago on stream, it has been in the back of my mind, and I really wanted to get some games with it and see how it fares against the different decks that we currently have in our meta. So I added the Angus list right there. We could do reserves, but for now I just want to get a feel of the deck. We're just going to go without reserves for now, and just do main decks, see how it feels. Gives us a good idea on the sequencing and the kind of cards that we want. I know a lot of experienced player can figure things out, maybe quicker or more efficiently, but I learn by experiencing. It's one of the best means for me to learn and develop ideas, and this is how I do it for PvE. Just a lot of experience, a lot of testing, like get an idea rolling, do a couple games, see how it feels, and then move along and implement and go from there. So just created a spreadsheet basically to keep the list here, which each line is a card, and then what we do is that we copy the two lists here in the deck tester that we want to test. Values here, so we've got Angus on this side. Actually, I'm going to put Angus there. Values only, okay. So we've got Angus. This is the current, what is mostly the current version of Angus. Fairly straightforward. Lascar's Vengeance, Bold, Fireball, 2 Crewmate, Burns, Mama Yeti, Matriarch, Anarchist, both Possums, and Baby Yeti. I know this is testing for standard with set 6, which means Burn, Crackling Bolt, and Anarchist won't be there, but this is a known quantity and we know how it works, and we know it works really well. There's likely going to be close enough equivalent after the rotation, because we're only speaking about 12 cards that are interchangeable in term of shape and form, and we've already seen good replacement for an anarchist, and dealing damage actions. We have Ruby's Favor, and we have also the goat, right? So let's start by testing this one and see how it feels, and then we can start tinkering with the mono Ruby list. And now the other deck that we want, this is the challenger, so to speak, the one that we don't know if it will work well or not, is this guy here that we worked on stream, which would be Shoku MCU Crusader. And what I did is just, very basic random function into an index. Right now the index is not starting on the right line, though. It needs to start on 5. And this should be 65. Alright. This. Okay, that worked. Just fixed formatting here. And then we do have to formula. A, this is E. 65. Okay, so if I paste formulas in there, we should be okay. 65. Alright, so this is just a crude, very crude random function. It doesn't work as a real, first-end tester, in the sense that each random is independent of each others. They don't consider the results. So we may, get more than 4 copies of the same card, for instance, in one hand. And sometimes, the cards that you have 1 copy of tends to be less represented than they would normally be, because of the fact that when you get the other cards, you don't reduce the pool, the percentage of chance that you have that you will draw the other cards. But that really doesn't matter here, because we just want to test hands, right? We can always randomize until we have a hand that feels right, and then we start testing. So it's really just to get a feel on how the decks are going, and the kind of ends and the back and forth that we can have between the decks, and just keeping a few informations in there, here and there. Angus L pool is 17, I believe. Shoku is 19. Let me just check that in game real quick. I don't want to start with the wrong L pool. Shoku, where are you? Alright, Shoku is 19. Perfect. So, we now have Shoku 19, we have Angus at 17, and now really the only thing that remains is just to start testing ends. Let me just fix that. I'm still working on this file, so bear with me. I'll be fiddling with the formatting a bit. Just make it visually more appealing to me. And I'm a bit picky on these. Alright, that looks more like a nether. Okay. And we just do this, right? Usually, when you have lists that you really feel are, strong and are, a good version, a strong version of a list that is very close to what would be the actual, competitive version, you can start writing down some game results, like, you know, your deck versus Angus, your deck versus XYZ, and then accumulate stats to know which matchups are great and see what kind of data you get. However, right now we don't have a full list, a full spoiler list, and we're really just testing to have a good feel of the card combination and the things that can come out of it. In that sense, I'm not going to record the game results, but because they're not what we want, the information we want to gather is not, not matchup results. We want to get a good feel of the deck ideas against the known quantities deck and see how they would fare, and really see, where we lack, and if there's sequencing that doesn't work, if there are cards that really doesn't fit with what you want to achieve, and get more insight on the deck. So we'll be starting with this one. So we've got an EmseeU Crusader versus Angus the Arsonist. This is one that we have right now in Constructed, and this is the deck idea with some cards from the new set. So first thing, we're going to generate some hands, so Control R. You don't look at the screen too much. And do we have something workable here? We've got 2 Ruby, and yep, that seems to work. So we'll just take note. Baby Yeti, Mama Yeti, Ruby Shard, Anarchist, Bolt, Ruby Shard, Matriarch. Alright, so that's a starting hand, and over there we've got a Wild, Blood, Wild, and a decent assortment of troops, so it should be a good test. So Wild, Runier Hierophant, Gang, Blood Shard, Wild Shard, Crusader, and Explorer. Alright, we have our starting hands. Every time I do an input, these cards shift. Another way we're going to use that is that we're going to use a top row here as our card round for the turn. This is how we're going to do it. I'm going to do a couple other randoms to decide which deck starts. Usually what I do is the first deck that has a shard when I stop the random. On the top row is the deck that is on the play. As good as a meta as any. Right now I stopped, and Lilipad is here, so we're going to assume that Shoku is on the play and our Angus is on the draw. So let's start with this. So we're not drawing a card since the first turn. What do we do? So we've got a Wild, Blood, Wild, Crusader, Explorer, Gang, which is 6 cost. It's a new card in the set. Then we have Runier Hierophant. So we're clearly looking to play Explorer on turn 2 right now, unless we draw something else. And I think having 2 Wild here. Looking at the list, should we be playing the Wild or the Blood first? We don't have anything that required 2 blood threshold. Actually, we don't have anything that has double blood threshold besides maybe Rotpa Gang. Rotpa Gang was... and keep in mind, yeah, it's double blood threshold. Oh, we do have removal that is double blood threshold in the Hero Falls and Strangle, so it does make sense to start out with Blood. Do we have double white threshold? I think we only have Pesky Pipet for the most part. So makes sense to open up with Blood. Okay, so we're going to play Blood, and we don't have anything else to play. So nothing in play at the end of this turn. However, we got 1 charge and 1 blood threshold. And then we pass on the turn. So here we draw the card here. So we're drawing another Mama Yeti. What do we do with this? So we're clearly playing the Ruby, and I think we're going to play the Baby Yeti. And we're going to have a Baby Yeti on the board. And since it's a Baby Yeti and it has speed, we attack. So here we're going to be at 18. And we're going to pass the turn. Well, now on the other side, we get a new turn. Let me just label the turns. This is turn 2 and 3. Oops, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's try to make this more readable. I'd like these to stand out more. Maybe something like that. Oh, that works. All right. Formats. We'll get there. It's really, right now the stream for tonight is a working, it's a workshop, trying a few things and continue working on this spreadsheet that I started. So things are not final here, far from final, but whoa. We'll get there. Paste, format. Look at that. Okay, that's starting to make sense. Like the spreadsheet is getting there, and then we can continue our second turn for this first test. Hey Max, how are you doing tonight? Welcome back to the stream. So second turn, we play the blood, so we can remove that. We'll be removing the blood shard that we have in hand as well, because we played it. First card is a zero file, so we're going to draw hero file. There's a baby Yeti on the play right now on the opposing side of things, and but we have only one 2-drop in Explorer, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to play Wild, and we're going to play Explorer. And now we'll have an Explorer in play, and then we draw the, well, we look at the bottom 3 cards and put the rest into the crypt. Keep the shards and put the rest into the crypt. Now we've got an MC that is going into the crypt, and Lily Pad and Well of the Ancient that goes into hand. So we're going to draw Well and Lily. I'm not tracking the crypt. Maybe I should. Does this matter with a list like this? I don't think it matters for this. Well, we've got Yazukan, Ground Skiff. Yeah, I should track the crypt. Let's see. Let's make another section hero. This would be the crypt. Okay. And crypt. That does make sense. So, and now we've got MC in the crypt. Paste value. Okay. That'll work. So what we could do is that the next MC we see on the draw, we reroll, because it's supposedly the card that is in the crypt. There's still 4 chances to get MC, and overall, unless we get a one-off card multiple times, I just go roll with it and expect that this was how things lined up for the most part. Alright, end of the turn, we can attack. We've got a second charge and a Blood Wild. Now, do we create a Dreadling now? We do have Runeary Hierophant and Crusader in hand. So next turn is going to be either one of them. I think we should be okay for the most part. We don't need a Dreadling yet. We're certainly keeping it for Runeary Hierophant as it is. And then maybe some other shenanigans. Alright, I think that's it for this turn here. So down to the Angus side thing. We drawn Mamayati last turn, so this is added to the end. We played a Ruby and a Baby Yeti, which were in the hand in the first place. So removing that from the end. So that's done, and we still have a Baby Yeti on the board. Now next, we draw a Ruby shard. So Ruby shard on the draw. We'll be playing a Ruby shard. Oh, I forgot. I said 2 charges, 2 Ruby threshold here. We have access to 2 resources. Matriarch, Mama, 2 Mama Yetis, Bolt, Anarchist, and another Ruby. I think we're just playing the Anarchist here. And this would be in play. And then we attack. Now, if we attack with we do attack with both, right? There's no reason not to attack with both. And there's an explorer on the board on the other side. I feel like Shoku would chum block the Anarchist with the explorer and take 1. In this situation, we're going to have a good blocker in the next turn. So explorer is dead. I'll just mark it with an X here, not to forget about it. And no one is died here, but we do, get 1 point of damage, and which I removed. I don't think anything else going on that side of things. So let's just go back to here. Going to go back to our new MCU Crusader list. Okay, so we remove Explorer, it's dead. Actually, it goes into the Crypt. And what do we do next? So we played Wild and Explorer. Right was in our hand. Explorer was. And then we drew these 3. So that's our hand right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we draw another Crusader. Alright, so here it is. We've got a Blood and Wild. I think we're going to play another Blood if we have one. Yeah, we've got a Well, so first thing we're going to play the Well. And for another Blood threshold, we're at 3. And I think in this sort, turn 3 Crusader is very rarely the wrong way to do things. We could go with Hero, Hero, which one is Hero? Why did I write Hero? Draw Hero. Aerofall. Okay, so it's Aerofall. Perfect. So do we keep Aerofall up or do we play Crusader? I think we play the Will and the Crusader for the most part. And we have a Crusader. The Crusader has the White Gem of Vigil. So it has Steadfast and Skyguard. That works. And then we pass the turn. Do we create Dreadling? I think we hold on the Dreadling right now. For next turn we can play Runear Hierophant, create a Dreadling, and also use Lilypad to create a Battle Hopper, which would put the Runear Hierophant at 4. And we have Speed and Underworld with the Runear Hierophant. So we could start to be aggressive at this point, I feel. Depend on the pressure from the Ruby deck, but with a Crusader in play right now with Steadfast, I feel that we're in a decent spot. Let's see what's happening on the other side of things. We've got... so we drew on a Ruby shard and we played one, that's okay. We played the Anarchist, so we're going to remove the Anarchist from our hand. And these guys are still on the board, so... let's see what we draw. We draw another Ruby shard, okay. Not too bad. Well, it's just doing, you know, deck simulation and trying to see how the new cards will fare. So we've yet to play any new cards still, but our Shoku deck is doing okay. I mean, turn 2 Charm Blocker into turn 3 Crusader is very decent start against an Angus deck. And you know, our Angus deck started with a Baby AT followed by an Anarchist, which is one of the good starts. It's a standard, you know, 1-2 punch for that build, and then we're about to follow it with a Matriarch or a Bolt. So things are definitely okay on that spot. So we drew a Ruby Shard. We're going to play Ruby Shard for sure. 3 with 3 Ruby Threshold. So how do we deal with that? We've got a Crusader on the board, and things are just going to get more grim as we go. We've got a Crackling Bolt in hand with 2 Mama Yetis and a Matriarch and a Ruby. So we know that turn 4 we're going to play a Mama Yeti. Usually we either play a Matriarch on this turn or try to destroy the Crusader, and I think this is what we're going to do. We're going to attack with Baby Yeti and Anarchist. They will block Anarchist, and then we can use Bolt to kill the Crusader. Crusader will deal 2 damage to the to its owner when it dies. They will draw 2 cards, but they take 2 damage, and they will take 1 from the Baby Yeti. This also enables us to activate our charge power on the same turn for an additional 4 damage. That means that we're doing 7 on that turn, and then the following, and we remove the Crusader, and we've got a Mama Yeti coming on the next turn. So things are pretty great at this point. I think this is what we do. So we attack with these 2. Crusader blocks Anarchist, so no one draws card, but we've got 1 damage from the Yeti there. And then Anarchist is dead. Now Anarchist is in a crypt for whatever reason. And Crusader is not dead, but it has 2 damage, and then we play Bolt for 3 damage, and we gain a charge. And then the Crusaders die. And at that point, we lose 2 health here. We're down at 14, and we draw 2 cards. So we'll have the Enchanted Blood Shard. That's a bit unfortunate, but that's okay. And now we can use our charge power, champion power, and bring down Shoku to 10. That's a very good turn for the Angus deck right there. And this was not a very, you know, it was a decent start from the Shoku deck, but yeah, it is. The sequence here is very hard, very aggressive, and keep in mind we're on the play, so this is not going well, not going well at all. We'll need a cold draw to get out of it with this deck here. So let's see if we can make something work. So Crusader is dead. We played a well and a Crusader. We drew a well and a Crusader, so we'll just remove these guys here, and we will add a Blood Shard to our hand, and we draw a Blood Shard. Not that great. We play a Wild, I guess. Wild. No, we don't play Wild. Wait a minute. What do we do? We've got a Rune Hierophant, a 6 cost, another Crusader, and a Hierophant. With Lily Pad. We could go with Hierophant, create a Dreadling, use the Lily Pad to create a use the lily pad to create a battle hopper. So that creates 2 blockers. It doesn't enable us to trade with a possible Mama Yeti though. And that's a big problem. Our Ruining Hierophant has speed and underworld, so it's not that great on defense. We don't have much though. And if they play a Mama Yeti, I think we just have to suck it up and not block, because if we just chump block Mama Yeti and the next turn they play anything, we're just dead anyway. So maybe we just go with the Hierophant and attack with everything. Attack with a Dreadling and the Hierophant for 6. Bring them to 11. Which is a way more manageable health pool. If we get another Hierophant, or if we get it, do we have anything else with speed? We don't have anything else with speed, but next turn we can create another Dreadling, get the Hierophant bigger, and we have a few Crusaders, and we do have Aerofall in hand. Wait a minute, we have Aerofall in hand at this point, so. Really feels that we're facing a baby Yeti and a very risky play, so we just want to keep Aerofall in hand and that's it. I think this is where we're going. Just play a shard and keep Aerofall in hand in case there's a Mama Yeti or Matriarch on the other side. Because right now there's no way we can produce a blocker that can survive Mama Yeti or even Matriarch. So that's a bit hard, right? And you don't want to be in this place. I think we're holding out Aerofall for the most part in this situation. So we're just going to play the white card, the white shard, go up to 4 here. And do we get in 1 damage? I think our Dreadling are very variable with this list. We already have 2 troops in the crypt. Aspect of the squirrel is scrounge what? Aspect of the squirrel was 3. So if we somehow get it, we might want to play it on next turn. It's a one-off though. Ground's Gift works with troops and crypts. Yazukan as well. Rotpack Gang. Where do we go with that? Do we create a Dreadling? I don't think there's a lot of value in the Dreadling at this point. So we're just going to keep it. And just pass the turn with 4 resources open. I'd like to have a small blocker. We could have gone for the lily pad, but I'd like to, keep the lily pad for when we play the Hierophant. And right now we're just facing 1 damage if we can just kill the next threat that is coming out from the Angus deck. So I guess we're going to take the cautious route here with the Shoku list and see what happens. Now back to the Angus side of things. Alright, so Anarchist is dead, Baby Yeti is still there. Last turn we drawn a Ruby, we played a Ruby, we played Bolt and Champion Powers. So removing Bolt, and this is our hand. The drawn card is Ruby. Again, playing a Ruby, and of course we're going to go with. Do we go? Well, wait a minute. We've got 2 Matriarch in hand, and we're facing Blood Player. They didn't put any blocker, and we're playing an aggressive deck, so they have to have some kind of removal, right? In that situation, you know that there's a good chance they are playing Aerofall. You don't play your Mama Yeti, because you have another one in hand. What you do is, you play the Matriarch, then you play your resource, then Matriarch gets up to 4 because of the delayed resource. Here we get 1 charge. We've got 4 rubies. And then we attack with both. Now we're certainly going to Aerofall Matriarch on this side of things here. So Matriarch will die and won't do any damage, and we're taking 1 from the Yeti. There's 1 resource left on this side, but there's nothing to do with it. But this still has 2 Mama Yetis in hand, so there's still clearly a way for this game to end very, very quickly here. We'll see what turn 5 holds for our Shoku list here. Doing the cleanup here, we played Wild and Hero Fall, and we drawn a Blood Shard. So another Blood Shard, Hero Fall is not there, and Wild is not there. What do we draw? We draw a White Shard. Draws were Hero Fall, Crusader, Blood, Wild. Okay, that's we had a lot of resources because of Explorer, that's why. Okay, so drew Wild. Now what do we do? We'll have access to 5 resources on this turn. However, we've got 2 3-cost troops. It's not great. I think on this board, since we're sitting at 9, we don't have any way to manage Mama Yeti, and if we just play a blocker, it just makes sense to wait a turn and play another blocker, and then you can chump block Mama Yeti and kill her if she comes. There's not a lot of room to work with really, but our opponent is at 17 and there's no blocker, so I think this is the turn where we go with Hierophant now. So we play Runir, Hierophant, and then we play Lily, Pad, and then we activate Shem Power. So we have Runir Hierophant that is now 4/4 and a upper on the board. We attack. We got to 5. We use 2. We go down to 3. There's no threshold because it's Lily Pad, and we created a battle upper. So we attack with Runir Hierophant and a Dreadling. Runir Hierophant attacks for 5 and Dreadlings for 1. That means that our opponent is at 11. And is that it? There's a Matriarch here in a crypt. And I think we passed the turn. So back to Angus. This is a lengthy process, and I know, I just speak about a reasoning, but when you do this for yourself and you go through the turns and alternate like that, it goes at a very decent pace. You can do a game in about 5 minutes. That one works really well. Like, you can test a lot of games in a short amount of time with that. So right now it's a bit slower since I explained and everything, but it's still a decent way to test deck ideas. So yeah, this is the new turn, right? Okay, so Matriarch is dead. Baby a T for all his flaws is still in there. We played Matriarch and a Ruby that redraw, so this is our end right now is Mama Yeti, Ruby, and Mama Yeti with a Cremate. Okay, so we do play Ruby for another charge, and this would be the 5th Ruby of the game. So at that point, there's nothing really left but to play. Oh, there's a Hopper that can block, but we're going to attack with Mama Yeti. Do we really want to burn a Cremate on this one? I don't think so. I think we just we keep the Cremate to attack to hit face basically on the next turn with the other Mama Yetis. That's really what we're doing. So we play Ruby, we play Mama Yeti, and then we swing with everything. Do we chump block the Baby Yeti with the Battle Hopper? Wait. Swinging with Hierophant next turn does 5, 6, plus a Dreadling 7. We're only 4 points short of killing our opponent, so does our opponent want to play defense? With one baby Yeti, for instance. I think it's worth it. Like, I mean, Shoku's at 9. We attack with Mama Yeti. They're at 5. We've got a Cremate and another Mama Yeti for the next turn. And we can chump block the Rune Hierophant. And if we have a chump blocker for the Rune Hierophant without any evasion, then that's perfect, right? I think we're in business. So we're just attacking with Mama Yeti, keeping the baby Yeti there, being careful. Because of that Rune Hierophant, that can go up fairly quickly on the next turn. So being conservative here, attacking with Mama Yeti, no block, going down to 4. And passing the turn. Yeah. Not going to set up the whole hand because there's not a lot of things that makes us survive the next turn anyway. We don't have Lily Pad. And we don't have Rune Hierophant. We've got a card that costs 6. That can get life drain if we sacrifice a troop. Huh. Wait a minute, that works. Okay, we'll do the turn correctly here. So we remove these. We're going to add a wild. Remove this. These are done. And these are in play. That works. Okay, so Rat Pagang. How does this one work? I want to make sure I do this right. Rat Pagang. How did you work? Here it is. Okay, so what do we do with you? Sacrifice another troop, choose one. This gets flight or this gets life drain. It's a 6/6 for 6. That we can give life drain with a Dreadling. Or with the Battle Hopper that we have. And this is something we can do at quick speed. So I'm guessing that the goal here is to play it before combat, attack with everything else. And if they somehow don't block Hierophant, we sacrifice the Dreadling or the Battle Hopper as needed. And we give this life drain, and then it's going to be able to block one Mama Yeti and kill it, and we're going to gain 6 life. Well, that's very, very good. That's very, very good. Okay, so this is the plan right there. So we've got all the thresholds that we need, so it doesn't really matter. We'll just play the well. Whoops. What do we draw? I mean, Dark Heart. Huh. Haha. Dark Heart. We draw Dark Heart at this point. Against a Baby Yeti and a Mama Yeti. Now, our opponent doesn't know that we have Dark Heart. We could just attack with these two, have them chump block with Baby Yeti, and then play Dark Heart, and then we have Dark Heart on the board. What gems do we have in Dark Heart? Intimidation and Brown. Dark Heart has 5 attack. Huh. I think it's safer though. Is it safer to go with the 6/6? Double Fireball could kill it and then we die. But if there's no removal for Dark Heart, because Dark Heart is 4/5, it's 5/4. It takes less removal. Yeah, I think the safer way to do it is to go with Root Pargang for now. But Dark Heart is a super good pick if we manage to stabilize. Let's see. How do we do this? With the Rune Hierophant. We're just playing one troop at this point. I feel that we're playing Root Pargang. So yeah, let's just go with the well and the gang. Just going to add that. On the board before combat. We go up to 4 charges. This doesn't really matter. We use 2 charges for a Dreadling. And then we attack with Runir Hierophant as a 6 troop, and then it becomes 7. Battle Hoppers. Do we attack with the Battle Hopper? I think we don't. It's a chum blocker. There's a Mama Yeti on the board, and there could be a Matriarch that we can chum block with the Hopper. Amongst other things, so does it really matter? They're going to chum block the with the baby Yeti for sure, now that we have something that can have life drain on the board. It's really close. I think we attack with a Dreadling and a Battle Hopper and put them to 9, and it's getting in range for the next turn, likely to get a kill just with the Runir Hierophant itself. And we still have a life drain troop that will be able to block anything that they send us. So I guess that works. Okay, so we attack with Dreadling Upper, that is now 1 attack, and Runir Hierophant, that is now 7 damage. Mama Yeti cannot block. Baby Yeti will at last die, blocking the Runir Hierophant. So 2 comes in. We're at 9 here. The only blocker is Root Pargang, and before the end of the turn, we sacrifice the Dreadling, and this one now gets life drain. And then we pass the turn. Yep, that works. Alright. This is a very close game. Root Pargang is awesome there. Might want more of that, but we'll see. Let's do this. Is likely the final turn either way for Angus, so we've got a Cremate, we played a Ruby and Mama Yeti, so we're removing a Ruby and a Mama Yeti in hand. Our end right now is Cremate and Mama Yeti, and we have a Mama Yeti on the board, and then we draw a card. Anarchist. He 5 resources now with Angus, and we've got Mama Yeti on the board and Anarchist in hand. So 4 plus 2 doesn't work with 5, I guess. But right now they have a life drain troop, a life drain 6/6, so we really need this to die. There's no way Angus is going to win through an attack of a 6/6 life drain troop that has a potential to be flight next turn. So I guess the only real option at this point is to attack with Mama Yeti into the Root Pargang and use Cremate to finish it. The real problem with Root Pargang though is that even if you finish it, it can just come back. Basic 2 blood threshold. What this is in your crypt, sacrifice a troop, put this into your hand. So even if we send Mama Yeti into Root Pargang right now and finish it with Cremate, Shuku is going to gain 6, and it's not going to achieve much. It's going to be in the crypt. Next turn I just summon a Dreadling, get Root Pargang back into the end, and just replay it. And we have a 6/6 life drain troop on the board. And we are at 10 at this point instead of 6. But then we attack with 2 Mama Yetis, so yeah, I don't think there's a way for... We could wait 1 more turn. Play Mama Yeti, wait 1 more turn. And there's a scenario where we can hit for 10 on the next turn. So let them attack with the Root Pargang to gain 6. And we may be able to kill them on a swing back. I think that's the plan right now. So just going to play Mama Yeti and don't attack. Just don't attack. We got 10 defense and 10 attack on the board right there, so we can even tussle with the Rune area if we want to. We don't even need chum blocker for it though. And we will have to chum block it, so maybe we just don't play Mama Yeti this turn, we just play Anarchist. And use it as a chum blocker. And the turn after that we can Mama Yeti and attack for 10. When there's no blockers. Sort of. I guess that works. Yeah, this is where things are in this match, so. Very, very, very close match here. Whoops. 7, 8, 9, 10. 8. 9. 10. 11. Okay, so turn 8. This is where the funny draw starts to happen when you drag the game too long, but I think again it is worth going further there. So we played Will and Gang. All right, Dark is in our hand. Will and Gang have been played, and the board is Gang, Battle Hopper, and Runeria Fanatic 6. Let's see what we draw. Aspect of the Squirrel. Okay. Aspect. What gem do we have in Aspect of the Squirrel? We have Intimidation. Oh my god. So we just win right there. We Aspect of the Squirrel on Runeer to give him Intimidation. And we attack for 6, 9, 10. And then we win. Alright, so first game on the play. The list managed to win against Angus. That's something. It's only one game. What bothers me right now is that there's... let's try to update Angus to have it standard legal after set 6. Rather than using a stock list. I feel that Angus might be stronger. At that point, we'll see. Let's try to work things out. Let's try to update Angus. Here, so this is Ruby, Agro, Shadow War, this Angus, and we're going to go with the same date. And so what do we remove? Since we're doing standard, we're removing the Anarchist, we're removing the Burns, and we're removing the Crackling Bolts. Cremate is an okay replacement for now, but let's see. The one thing we want to add for sure, no doubt, is Scapegoat. And this one is really, really intense. So we're going to run with Scapegoats for sure. So there's that. And then we remove Bolt and we remove Burn. So 2 pieces of direct damage. Right now from the new set we have Zap, which is only 1 damage. That's not, I don't think that's significant enough, although it does provide a charge, but I don't like it pretty much. We're going to run Ruby's Favor. Like, let's not kid ourselves. That card is likely going to get a nerf before release, but just to prove a point here, let's try to run with Ruby's Favor as well. Ruby's Favor. And we removed 2-drop with speed in Anarchist. I think trading a direct damage action for Scapegoat does work for the most part. Removing basically removing Crackling Bolt for Ruby's favor, removing Burn for Scapegoat, and then we're going to play Righteous Outlaw for instead of Anarchist. This is very, you know, just replacing parts easily to work on the deck list, but I think this is going to be workable, and at the same time we'll be testing it, right? So Righteous Outlaw. Righteous Outlaw. It's another, you know, 2-drop with speed that does something if it lives combat. It's a lot better on the play than on the draw, and this is where reserves would come in, but we're not doing reserves for the other list that we're testing, so might as well run with this one. We're running the same shard base, really just replacing, yeah, replacing Burn for Goat, replacing Anarchist for Righteous Outlaw, and replacing Bolt by Ruby's Favor. Yep, I love that. Alright, so this is what we're testing here. And we reset these values, 17, 19. Resetting the threshold, the crypt. We're not going to keep track of the crypt. I don't think there's enough value there, but let's add a few more headers here. 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. Okay, that works. Alright. So we're going to test the same list with MC. And we didn't see MC yet, but we've seen the power of Root Pack Gang, which was great. We played... we did play a singleton of Aspect of the Squirrel with Intimidation, which provided us with the win. What else? We can always switch gems, you know, around. But I think I like where things are right now with the list. We'll see as we test it right now. This is, you know, Angus is a very real threat, so. Hey, Shadow Zord. Actually, I'm testing with this spreadsheet that is on the screen right now. We're working out of deck lists. This is one of the deck lists we worked on 2 weeks ago on the stream, an MC and Underworld Crusader list. And right now we started by testing one game against one of the the standard Angus build that is running in the ladder right now. And before doing another game, we just worked out an update on Angus to make it set 6 ready, so to speak. Very simple modifications that make sense. Might not end up being the case, but I think, you know, Righteous Outlaw is roughly being equivalent to Anarchist. I know that Anarchist is way better, but, you know, it's a 2-drop with speed with additional value kind of thing, right? And Scapegoat for Burn, since a Scapegoat can roughly translate to direct damage over the course of a game. It's less efficient. It's not the same thing, right? But it does what we want it to do. And Ruby's Favor for Bolt, Crackling Bolt. So there's less direct removal, but the list is slightly more aggressive. We'll see if that becomes a problem, but Shoku MC, this is MCU Crusader, right? It sounds like a EmseeUC sounds like a university shorten or something. EmseeUC, I like that. EmseeUC. I think this is going to be the name of this list if it becomes something. EmseeUC. Alright. So, and this is just a spreadsheet, and this is available in my stream notes, guys. If you want to copy the spreadsheet here, this spreadsheet for yourself, and start, you know, theory crafting, creating that deck list and testing them together, you can go into the stream notes, just copy, you select it, you say copy to, and then you copy to one of your one of your own spreadsheet, and then it will copy this tab to one of your own spreadsheet, and then you can play with it all as long as you want. It's not locked or anything, so it's freely available for the copy. Alright, so this is the updated list, and this is a list that we wanted to test tonight. We're going to do at least one more game against Angus, maybe two, and then we're going to try to find, since this is a mid-range deck, we're fighting against aggro, and I guess the next thing we're going to test it against would be a control list. I don't want to test the the Winter Moon control because it's way too hard to manage, but we're going to actually, it's not that hard, but it's a lot more work, right? Maybe we test Banks after that. Oh, Banks is not going to be there as a champion in the new format, so control deck might just be... Yeah, we will need to come up with a list for a control deck in the new format and then test it against this list here. But first, let's do this game. So we're going to hit random a few times. Is this a good 3 Ruby, Cremate, Matriarch, Goat, Outlaw? I think this is a perfect end to test with. So Cremate, Ruby, Matriarch, Goat, and Outlaw. Alright, this hand that will showcase the new cards, so that's good. On this side we've got Animus, Pa, Well, Wild, Gang, Pa, Explorer. We've got a 2-drop. We don't have any 3-drop, but Pa of Yazukan. What's the... I always forget. Pa of Yazukan. The scrounge is 3. Yeah, we should be able to scrounge for 3 on turn 4 with Pa of Yazukan. It's not great, but we have a Chum Blocker on 2 and Pa of Yazukan on 3. And the curve on the list is pretty low, right? We've got a ton of 3-drops. Like 3-drops and lower, we've got 20 cards. Well, there's a very high chance that we draw one. Or a removal for turn 3, where turn 3 right now is open. So I guess this is a hand that we can keep. So let's try it. So Animus, we've got Pa, Well, we've got Wild, Gang, we've got Pa, and we got Explorer. Alright, so who's starting right now? Let's do the same thing. I'm going to random a few times and until one has a shard on top and the other one doesn't, and the one with the shard will be the one who starts on the play. So a few randoms. Yazukan is not a shard. Ruby's favor is not a shard. Cremate, Blood Shard. Okay, so Shoku will be on the play for this time around as well. Let's do this then. Okay, so this one's on the play. There's no card draw. Where do we go with that? We usually want to go with Blood first, but we don't. We have a Well and a White Shard, so we're just going to go with a White Shard and 1 charge, 1 white threshold, and then pass the turn. Right here, we're going to draw a Baby Yeti. What do we do? We play a Ruby Shard, and we have between Cremate, Baby Yeti, and Goat. We're most definitely playing Goat and attacking for 1. So Goat is one of the new cards as well, and it's extremely powerful. It might be nerfed before release. That's another one, and I'm not sure where they're going with that. It shouldn't have speed, but it's Rage 1. This cannot block, and it has speed, and it's a 1 cost 0/1. And when this becomes blocked, put this into your hand. So it never dies into combat. It just goes back to your hand and you just replay it and it continues to grow. Funny thing here is that if it becomes blocked, it doesn't kill the blocker because it goes back to your hand before that. Another thing to note, but we'll see how this works. So we attack with goat on turn 1, so we go to 18 here. We've got a goat in play, and then we pass the turn. There's nothing much on the first few turns, right? So setting up turn 2 for Shoku here, we play the wild. We'll be removing wild from the list of cards in hand, and then we draw a Well of Ancient. Drawing a shard here is very amazing. We're going to play a well into an explorer. We're going to have an explorer in hand. An explorer will 1, 2, 3 gets us only 1 shard. And then we're at 2 charges, wild and blood. And we pass the turn. It's decently, yeah, once you're used to the spreadsheet, it goes pretty well. Like, you can alternate with the turns really fast, and it's fairly easy. So we drew a baby yeti, we played a ruby shard, so removing a ruby shard from the end, and adding a baby yeti instead. So this is our hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we draw a bolt spasm. And that's the turn. So we play another ruby shard, 2 charges, 2 ruby here. And we've got goat in play, but there's a blocker, but we still attack, right? The other option would be to actually use cremate on the explorer and play baby. Oh, goat is not in the end anymore. We could play outlaw. Outlaw doesn't have swift strike or anything, right? And we don't have anything in our crypt right now for cremate, so I think we're... If we... You know what? We baby yeti. We play ruby. We play baby yeti, so we've got a baby yeti on the board. We attack with goat and baby yeti. Explorer blocks the goat and goes back into our hand. Baby yeti does 1 damage. And we've got 1 resource left. We could cremate, but we could also just replay the goat with 2 attack and pass the turn. I think this is the best way to do it. Yep, I love this line here. That makes sense. And then we pass the turn. So here, setting up turn 3, we drew a well, we played a well. That's okay. We remove that. Explorer, we remove it from our hand, and we're adding a blood to hand here, and then we draw a Paw of Yazukan. Whoops, we draw a Paw of Yazukan. Yeah, goat is insane. I've done multiple others of these simulations, and goat is an MVP in any game it's present for Angus. So it's really strong. It's deceptively strong. Paw of Yazukan. So here we've got a well, we've got a blood in hand, we've got 2 Paw of Yazukan and an animus. So we don't have any 3 drop. Just going to play well for Actually, we're going to play blood, just to, you know, to bluff Hero Fall or Strangle, and then we're going to pass the turn. Oh no, we need to create Dreadlings. We forgot to create a Dreadling on the last turn though. Let's say we would have had created a Dreadling on the last turn. And there would be 1 troop in our crypt at this point. Because we want to create the Dreadlings because of the Paviazucan there. That needs 3. Very important. So this turn we don't create drilling. The last turn we would have had, and this would be 16. Okay. So here we go. Turn 3 for Angus. Let's see what happened. Bolt Spasm. We add here. Ruby and Baby Yeti we remove from the end. We've still got Goat and Baby Yeti on the board, and we draw a Ruby Shard, which we play 3. And where do we go with that? We've got Cremate. There's only 1 blocker on the opposing board, and we've got 3 resources. I feel like this is where we cremate the blocker, play the Outlaw, attack for a decent amount of damage actually. Yep, this is what we do. So cremate, Outlaw, and then we've got the Outlaw, and we attack with everything. Explorer is dead, and Goat does 3, Baby Yeti does 1, and Outlaw does 2. That's 6 damage. Aye aye aye. And Outlaw is going to become something else on the next turn. There's 2 troops in the crypt right now. And we pass a turn. That's a lot of pressure. Alright, so Explorer is dead. We remove blood from our hand. And we add another boss. So that's a lot of Paviazucan in our end right now. If we see another one in the draw, we're just going to redraw. It's likely just a random being silly at this point. So let's see what we get. Ruinier Hierophant. 4 turn 4. We don't have a lily pad. We can create a Dreadling to have a 3/3 Ruinier Hierophant. I guess we're playing Animus. Animus has Conjuration, creating a random 4-drop. Do we play Animus or... Yeah, Goat is extremely annoying right now, and Outlaw is going to become... What's the second form of Outlaw? It's... We either create a Valor or become Scarlet Swordsman. One shot when this attacks, it deals damage equal to its attack to target opposing troop. This deals damage equal to its attack to each opposing champion. Why? There's no way we're not transforming into Swordsman, right? It's going to transform into a Swordsman. Or create a Valor. If we put a 3/3 on the board, you could just create a Valor for Outlaw and attack and trade. It will deal 2 damage to this, to anything that we play anyway, and 2 damage to us, so yeah, it's not a good spot. Do we play Ruinier Hierophant or do we play Animus? I think that we just play Animus. Create a Dreadling, play Animus, and next turn we can paw and start destroying things. Yeah, it's not going great. Well, and Animus. I really don't like Animus into this. Surely we can change it for something more significant. I already didn't like it so much in the first place, and now I'm just like it even less. And we've had a ton of new spoilers, so maybe we need to look at this one and update the list. Alright, so let's say we play Animus for now. So we have Animus in play. We didn't really do anything else. We gain a charge and we create a Dreadling. So there's going to be 3 in our crypt, 3 troops in our crypt. And then we pass the turn. This is not going to end well for Shoku. Not at all. So play the Ruby, cremate an Outlaw. Cremate Outlaw. Alright, we've got these 3 things on the board, and then Outlaw becomes Scarlet Swordsman. So Scarlet Swordsman, and then we draw something. We draw a Mama Yeti of all things. Okay. Yeah, this is a win right there, right? It's like we play Ruby, we go up to 4, use champion power. Opponent goes down to 7. Outlaw when it attacks will do 2/2 directly to the face. It goes down to 5, and we attack with a Mama Yeti. Yeah, it's just a win, right? Mama Yeti. Gold is at 4. And then goat up to 5 for the attack. It only can block one thing, the goat, and then Mama Yeti and everything. And Angus wins, ends down this game. Goat doing some insane damage, right? 1 + 2 + 3 here. Goat, over the course of the 3 first turns, did 6 damage itself. That's a ton. That's a truckload of damage. Alright, let's suit up, and you know what? The cards that I really don't like in this list are Lackey is okay, and it's one of the few 1-drops, so I think Crypt Knight as a 3/1 is decent enough. Exarchos of the Egg is decent. Acolyte is okay. Pipit is okay, so we'd like to remove Animus of Nozan from the main deck. Underworld we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 10 Underworld as well. So right now we'd like to remove Animus. For anything else with a socket, that would be great. So let's see if we have new sporters that works for us. We're playing Blood Wild. So Blood Wild, Mad Progenitist, 4/4. What does this one do? One 4 for 3. When an underworld card enters your hand, summon a Dreadling. For HP friend race, summon troops control, basic 1-shot. 2 conscript underworld with cost 3. So 1 4 for 3. I don't think. Well, we need a Saga troop, so we don't need that. Saga troop, Fang of Nozan, nope. Buffalo Herd. No, we're not doing Buffalo Herd. Are we in the wild? So I get a card. A spec we already have. When you conscript, do something. No. Blood. We could play one Zarat's Rectory. Yeah. I guess with a creation gem, it just pay 2, it creates a random 2-drop in your hand, and then when you create Dreadlings with it, it creates randoms 1-drops in your hand every time. This is just not great. It might be better than Animus for the most part. Power and Pain. Second Mind, create, conscript an underworld troop which costs 2. The created card also get powers of this, so. Okay. Crypt Curse Knight we already have. 6 cost flight. Secondable Miner, put target second card from your crypt into your hand. That's too much. Not great. Not great at all. I guess we can try to see. Look back at our options here. Suckable. And then we go. We've got Charybdor, we've got Underwater Crusader, we've got Ground Skift in the deck. We could just play a Gallows Cast. Animus wasn't an underwater troop, so we can replace it with anything really that has a socket. I guess Gallows Cast makes the most sense. Doesn't really help with the curve though. Oh, we do have a decent amount of low drops, we just didn't draw them. So we remove Animus of Nozan with Gallows Cast. And then we have 2 sockets to do. 1, 2, 3. We've got 3 Intimidation gems, so there's 1 left. We can definitely put Intimidation in there. And what else? We've got 4 Intimidation gems. Usually would run speed, but Runier? We could remove a speed from a Runier and run Brown, I guess. Yeah, I think we're going to remove Brown, and then we're going to go with speed on the Gallows Cast, just as a, you know, big hitter that comes with speed that might just wrap up games out of nowhere. I like it better than having the Animus in the list. Yeah, I think that works best. Let's see. Okay, so we've got an update to the list here. It's not a big update. We didn't see a lot of the new cards, so I don't want to drastically change it, but... Whoops. Gallows Cast is in there. Okay, that works. So we're 1-0 for the new Angus. Let's see if we can make this work. So a bunch of randoms. Baby Yeti, Mama Yeti, 2 Ruby Shard, Outlaw, Escape Gold, Ruby Favor. Okay, that's a good end. So Baby Yeti, Mama Yeti, Ruby Shards, Outlaw, Goat, Favor. Wellpa, Exarch, Wild, Lackey, Crusader. Oh, that's that could be something. Wellpa, Exarch, Wild, Naive, Lackey, and Crusader. I think we're going to have a good match here. So let's do a bunch of randoms. First one with the shard on the top is going to be on the play. Shoko is going to be on the play. Alright. First here we cannot play Naive Lackey on the first turn. That's a pain, but we're just going to go with Wild. And pass the turn. Here we're going to draw Mama Yeti. We're going to play a Ruby and Goat. we're going to attack with goat. 1 damage here. And then pass back the turn. So here we play the white shard. And then we draw MC. Oh, that's perfect. We get to test MC. We're playing the well. And then we're playing MC. That's a real goddamn shame that our opponent's having a Ruby's favor in hand right now, because otherwise MC would be insane. So we've got MC at 5 because we do create a Dreadling with our additional charge. And then we play MC as a 2/2 and sacrifice the Dreadling that we just created, so that on turn 2 we have a 5/5 in play. That's the whole point of the, well, that's the whole point. That was one of the points of this, was that we play MC Etcher of Nozan on turn 2 to have a 5/5 on turn 2. That should be so strong again. It should shut down most Angus decks right there. The problem is that we have Ruby's favor in hand. And for one, we're going to be able to remove MC from the board. That's just really, really, really sad. Alright, so we played a Ruby and a goat, so we're just removing a Ruby and a goat, adding Mama Yeti, and drawing a Ruby shard. Playing Ruby shard, we got 2. LTS 17. There's a 5/5 on the opposing side of the board, so we're just going to play Ruby's favor and just kill it. That's the worst case scenario, by the way, and this is why I think Ruby's favor needs to be nerfed. But MC is now dead. And with the other resource that we have, we're going to play Baby Yeti. So Baby Yeti and attack with both. Goat is going to end up doing 2 damage, so we're attacking for 3 right now. And pass the turn. That's a real shame. I wanted MC to do something, but we were not able to have MC do something. It was denied. Alright, we draw Lilypad. Lily. What do we play there? We don't have a Dreadling to create. We've got 2 troops in the crypt. We could Lilypad and Crusader. We could Exarch plus Naive Lackey as well. Do we go with a Crusader? I think we do. Wild Lilypad Crusader, just to have 2 blockers instead of 1. Against a goat, that does make a big difference, so I think this is what we're doing. Lilypad and then Crusader. So we have a Crusader in play and a Hopper. We have 1 more charge, but we don't get more threshold. And then we pass the turn. Alright, Crusader on 3 on the play is supposed to be good. A 5/5. Imagine the game where we get to play a 5/5 on turn 2, followed by an Underworld Crusader on turn 3. That's a lot of stats on the board for the first 3 turns. It's a 5/5 plus a 4/4. And both provide extra value later down the road. So that's just crazy. But for now, Crusader and a Hopper. And then now we need to set up this turn. So Rubies, we play the favor and a Baby Yeti. So just remove Baby Yeti, and a favor from the starting hand. And we draw a fireball. We play the ruby shard that we have in hand. We're now at 3 resources. 3 charges, 3 resources. Crusader and Hopper. Fireball plus a Baby Yeti block on the Crusader kills it, and then we still hit them for 2, and the Crusader is not there anymore. Crusader could block the goat, and then we cannot kill it with a fireball, but we do trade the Battle Hopper for nothing. So usually, do they sacrifice the Battle Hopper to save the Crusader? I think they would, but it's still, you're still doing the attack, right? There's no way you're not doing the attack. So attack with both. Crusader blocks the goat and Hopper blocks the Baby Yeti. So Hopper dies and Crusader doesn't take any damage. Goat goes back into the end. It's now a 3 attack and we just replay goat. And pass the turn, and we still have fireball open for whatever comes next here. And we block both troops so we don't take damage. Alright, that works. So Crusader is out, Battle Hopper is out, and we have Crusader in play. We have 3 troops in the crypt. What do we draw? We draw White Shard. That's okay. We play 1 White Shard. We're now at 2 charges and white blood. We don't have double blood, but I think this is going okay. We just play Pavyazakan at this point, right? Pavyazakan the goat. Is that worth it? We can have a lot of blockers for next turn. And there might be a Mama Yeti. So I like having the Exarch there, but we're still open for any quick speed removal. So, but then again, Pavyazakan dies to quick speed removal anyway. So I think we're just Exarch and Naivlaki this turn. Attack with Crusader. Crusader has Vigil, so it has Steadfast. So we attack with Crusader, they take 4. They're down 13. And we play the Wild. We play the Exarch, and we play the Naivlaki. And this is our board. And we still have the Crusader to block. And then we pass the turn here. Oh, that one's going to be a bit harder to figure out now. Before the end of the turn, we fireball the Exarch because we're looking into playing a Mama Yeti. Well, we really want to remove the Exarch, so Exarch is dead before the end of the turn. So actually, we play fireball here. So here, we remove a ruby from our hand, and that's it. We draw a card, and we really hope that the drawn card is a ruby. Laskar's Vengeance against a Crusader and a Naivlaki. Do we take the same bet this time around? I think we made the same bet that they're going to trade the Naivlaki, but at the same time we're reducing Laskar's Vengeance by 2, and this would be significant very soon. So doing the same thing, attacking with both. Goat is now 4 attack, goes back to end, we replay it, and Vengeance is now 6 cost. And we don't have any blocker. But Naive Lackey is dead. Which means we draw a card here. Blood Shard. Alright. No damage. And Goat cannot block anyway, and Baby Yeti is not like, you know, getting Vengeance here is going to be very, very significant. So let's do turn 5. Things are still very interesting. Got a Crusader here. Wild is removed. Exarch Naive Lackey, so Exarch Naive Lackey. And we add a Blood. And then we draw Blood Shard. Did I... Not sure if the random change. Pavia's can. Yeah, no, it changed. We changed the formatting, so it was a Blood Shard. So, whoops, Blood Shard. We play a Blood Shard. Blood Shard is going to be there, and we're now at 3 charges. I guess we play Paviazukan to kill the Goat. The Goat is really problematic at this point, because if there's ways to remove the whole board, then the Goat just attack for a ton of damage. So going to use Paviazukan on the Goat. 0 here, the Goat is KO and doesn't return to hand. Left with a Baby Yeti. And now we have Crusaders and Paviazukan. We attack with a Crusader down to 9. And pass the turn. Actually, we've got another Paviazukan in hand, so we're going to create a Dreadling. And we're going to remove 1 more damage here. That does work. Now on to Angus. Vengeance at 6. Whoa, what was that? Here. And Goat has died. Baby Yeti. That's not a good draw. Baby Yeti, Outlaw. We attack with everything. Last card's Vengeance is at 6. We're at 3. If we attack with everything, it goes down to 3 and we can play it the next turn, but then again we're getting attacked for 8 next turn. Paviazukan is 8, right? It is 4. Whoops. Reset. Filters. Paviazukan is 4 attacks, so we have lethal on the board. Need blocker. We could attack with 1. Bring this down to 5. Yeah, we can't really attack. Just play Baby Yeti and Outlaw and then pass the turn. 1 resource in this end was unlocked. But we're not draining the resource right there. Okay. I think this is looking good for Shoku this time around. Removing Blood and removing Pa here, stuck with a Wild and Blood, but we've got a decent board. Let's see what we draw. Dark Heart. Yeah, Dark. Dark Heart has Intimidation Brown. We're still playing it, right? We attack with both. They double block Paviazukan to trade with it, and we play a Blood Shard to get up to 2. And Blood Shard, this is the 6th turn, so We have access to 6 resources and create a dwelling. So we create a dwelling. We attack with everything. They double block the pavia as you can. And take the 4. The 5. Keep a baby Yeti on the board, and does that make any sense? That doesn't make any sense to lose Outlaw. Just chump block the Pavia as you can, really. And take the 5. Because the out here is that next turn we attack with 2 troops, and we draw a ruby, attack with 2 troops, play Laskar's Vengeance, and wipe the board. It is shared, actually, Mr. GDM Jedi. You can go in the stream notes and you'll be able to find a spreadsheet. Here's a direct link if you want. You have the usual my usual notes for streams and the spoiler reviews and everything, but the last tab is the deck tester. It's extremely crude, very simple spreadsheet, nothing very novel about it. The ends are drawn with a straight up random, so it's not reliable because it doesn't account for other cards being drawn. So sometimes you get some silly draws, like multiple copies of the same one of in your deck, but it's just really just to test some hands. And right now we're testing an upgraded Angus list against the EmseeUC build that we worked on 2 weeks ago on the stream for standard. But this tab here is not protected, or it's shared, so you can just you create a Google spreadsheet on your own, and then you go and copy to here, and you create a local copy in your own spreadsheet, and then you work with it. This one only contains what we worked on the stream though, so don't expect to find any hidden tech here, sadly. I started with the a very standard Angus list, and then we updated, did some very crude update to the Ruby aggro list here, and this is the list that we're working out of right now. So far it's okay. I mean, it does put up a fight, that's for sure. No, I know you don't even need me for tech or anything. I'm just saying. That's a disclaimer for everyone. It's just a disclaimer. I know very well that one of the top 10 player of the game doesn't need me for any hidden tech. And I also have to work with my team, right? So, but since this list, we tried to work out of it on the last stream, and I really wanted to continue working on this EmseeUC list right there. So this is why I don't mind doing this on stream. And if you guys have good ideas for the list to test the this mid-range aggro, it's aggro mid-range list, right? Shoko list here. If you have any ideas of deck lists for set 6 that you want to pitch it against, let me know and we can arrange a game or two here while we wait for set 6. So, where were we? Yeah, here we attack, we did the damage, and then sadly for that deck we play Dark Heart, and this is likely game, because at the start of the turn they need to sacrifice a troop so that they don't have 2 to attack, and it's not even guaranteed that they draw a ruby shard. They get a ruby's favor, and the next turn they die. So here Shoku wins. Angus was just stuck on 3, It would have had a very good fighting chance on, you know, landing a shard at some point, but you know, Crusader into Pav Yazukan into Darkheart is, and look at this game, like this sequence is so great. Like on turn 2 we get MC as a 5/5, on turn 3 we get Crusader, on turn 4 we get Pav Yazukan that destroys something. On is that no? On turn 4 we did we played Exarch and Naivlake for a bunch of charm blocker, but you know, in that game we played a 5/5 for 2, a Crusader, a Pav Yazukan, and a Darkheart. Like, that's a very strong line here. This is what the list is supposed to be doing, and we're pitting it against Angus, and Angus playing Ruby Shard, Ruby's favor for 1, mind you, and that has to be wrong. Ruby favor for 1, and that was my first impression, and I still keep at it. This should not be 1 cost, or it shouldn't be destroying an artifact. Either one of these needs to change. I'm actually worried about Goat as well, but a bit less. Goat is certainly very scary, like very, very scary. What Quashridge Tusker. Armies of Myths, so it's still legal. Maybe we could see an even, you know, more aggressive 1-drop filled Ruby deck, Angus deck with Tuskers as well. Like remove Matriarch of Flame and just put a bunch of Quashridge Tusker, and the list would run 12. The list would run like 16 1-drops. Actually, I like that. I think since we're trimming down here, we're playing the Outlaw. Maybe the Outlaw should be Quashridge Tusker, but I don't know. I've tested a bit with Goat, and God, this card is powerful. I feel like it's very reminiscent of Quashridge Tusker. So it's a bit, it's not better for sure. Like Tusker provides a lot of damage, but the problem with Tusker is that it dies into combat. This one doesn't die, and it combats with speed. And most of the time you can just replay it after combat anyway. So this is, we're speaking about Tusker level kind of damage in a 1-drop that doesn't die in combat and that has speed. Alright, so let's test another one with this configuration and see where we land. Right now it's 1-1 with these configurations. But we had one game where Angus stayed on 3, but it's not uncommon. I mean, this version of Angus, how many shards do we run? We run 23. It's okay though. It shouldn't happen too often that we get stuck here. Why did I lose the formatting? Okay. And I guess this here. Okay. Don't worry. So let's try another one. Let's try another one. Yeah. Okay. So we'll hit Control R a bunch to randomize. It deals no damage mid-game, but the problem is that it triggers Laskar's Vengeance. And when you have Goat and Laskar's Vengeance, at some point you're going to remove all blockers. Like around turn 3 or 4. Because you have a lot of speed troops, right? And the fact that Laskar's Vengeance exists with Goat is a bit of a worry to me. Because even though they can, block indefinitely, you have a lot of, direct damage, and often you don't need to block indefinitely. Like, you start on turn 1 with Goat, And on turn 2, you play any 1 cost action that removes their 2 drop, and play another 1 drop with speed. Like you're going to accumulate. By turn 3, you have accumulated like 6 damage with 1 goat. That's quite a bit. We need X5s. All right, let's see. Let's try another one. So here, 1 ruby shard, but we have gold bolt spasms for days and Laskar's vengeance. Is this a keep? 4 bolt spasms and yeah, that's random doing weird things. Like, is that something you would keep? Because goat will trigger Laskar's vengeance for days, right? And at some point you will be able to play it, and then you can just play out bolt spasms for the most part. I guess that's enough to survive long. That's enough to survive for Laskar's vengeance. Yeah, let's try this one out. Seems like a good one to test. So, vengeance, spasm, ruby, spasm, goat, spasm. That's a weird ass hand, but we'll test this one out. So here we have Explorer, Crusader, Lipad, Explorer, Blood Shard, Pipit, White Shard. So we got an Explorer into a Crusader. That's a decent line here. So Explorer, Crusader, Lily, Explorer, and Blood, and Pipit, and Wild. That works well. Do we have Chineers, we have... Okay, so we want 2 blood threshold with this list. We're running a set of Herofall as Strangle as well, with 1 Gallows Cast and 1 Rot Pack Gang. So we do want double blood threshold. Well, double blood threshold as early as we can. So we need to figure out which one is on the play. We're going to randomize until one has a shard at the top and one doesn't. Pesky Pipit, Fireball, MC Mama Yeti, Ruby Shard Squirrel. So Angus will be on the play. Okay, so Angus on the play. We have our starting hands. We're good. Angus on the play with a goat. So let's do this. Ruby Shard, goat on the board. Goat with 1 attack, and here we start with 19, we go down to 18. And here we've got 1 charge, 1 ruby threshold, and we're at 17. Next. Alright, we do draw we already have 2 in hand. The third one is city, but then again we've got a bunch of bolt spasms, so I guess that works. We draw a third explorer. What do we play? We play Blood and pass the turn. So 1 blood threshold, pass the turn. Here into turn 2 we play Ruby and a goat. So removing the Ruby and the goat. And Cremate is our draw. There's no blocker, we have goat. Let's just play 1 of the bolt spasm. Oh, I forgot. Vengeance is now cost 7. And actually it's going down to cost 6 because we attack with the goat for 2 damage. So already goat has done 3 damage. Like 1 card, 1 cost 3 damage. That's a fireball. That's fairly decent. I mean, the gold could do nothing else for the remainder of the game and we don't care. It's already done 3 damage. The rest is just pure upside. And we have goat, and we have a bolt spasm in play at the end of turn 2. We want to have a blocker here. So let's see what we get. Here we've got an explorer in play from last turn, and we draw Another explorer. No, come on, that doesn't right. That's not right. Wide shard. Okay. That makes more sense. So we're playing a wide shard and an explorer. Explorer here. Well of Ancient. Alright. Draw well. And we have 2 troops in the crypt. That does matter for this list. There's not much else to do, right? I guess we're just passing the turn at this point. And this is where it will hurt a lot. Alright, so 1 spasm in play and 1 cremate. So this becomes cremate. And and we draw ruby shard. Oh my god, this is going to be insane. So play the ruby shard, 2 ruby. We cremate, then play a spasm. So we're going to have 2 on the board. Explorer is dead. And then we attack with Goat and Bolt Spasm for 6. Laskar's Vengeance now cost 4. Ouch. And I don't think Shoku will survive that one. Like 2 Bolt Spasms and a Goat at 3. That's going to be 4 on the next turn, and the next turn we get to play Lasgar's Vengeance, so next turn is a kill. Let's try to see what happens there, but it's likely not going to matter much. So we played Wild and Explorer. Okay, so this becomes a well, and then we draw Dark Heart. Not helping. We've got a Crusader and a Lily Pad. We've got a Wild and 2, and I guess Lilypad provides blockers, so we can have 2 blockers, so maybe we're not dead. Do we go for the other blood threshold? We don't need one. We've got 2 explorers in hand, so and a well. So definitely using Lilypad here for an additional blocker. And Crusader in play with a Battle Hopper. And we're going to use Shoku to create a Dreadling and attack. There's no block here, so it's going to be 16. And this goes up to 3. So we're setting up a with this Dreadling, we're setting up a Pavia's count on turn 4. But we may not get a turn 4. So Ruby, Cremate, and Spasm. So this is out. And we draw a Mama Yeti. We don't have the next. So we cannot play Lasgar's Vengeance pre-combat. There's a Crusader and a Battle Hopper out there. We could just attack with Goat. And then play Lasgar's Vengeance. We attack with the 3. We lose Bolt Spasm, 1 of the Bolt Spasm. And 1 Goat returns back to hand. And we play 1 for Lasgar's Vengeance and play Goat plus another Bolt Spasm. That's just stupid. Alright, that's a ton of damage. I guess that this is how this works. So we attack with the 3. Gold comes up to 4 with 2 Bolt Spasms. So Upper blocks Goat. 1 of the Bolt Spasm crash and burn on Crusader. And takes 3 for the Bolt Spasm that live. Now after combat we play Vengeance for 1, and we play Goat, and we play the last Bolt Spasm. No, we only access 2 resources, and we just play. Oh well, actually we play Bolt Spasm. We don't play Goat. So at the end of all this, we've got gold 4 back in hand, and our board is 2 bolt spasm, and we just destroyed this board. So Crusader dies. We did what? Wait a minute. We did 4. Crusader dies, and Shoku is at 1. We've got 2 bolt spasm on the board, and let's see if we can stabilize that. That's very unlikely, but let's just do this properly here, because we're drawing 2 cards. That could be significant. Okay, these 2 are dead, and then we draw 2 cards. We draw Wild and Pa. So, Wild and Pa. Okay. Okay. Lily and Crusaders are out from our hand here. And Dark, Wild, and Pa are added to our hand. We also draw Strangle. And we're at 1. Against 2 bolt spasms. Goat is not there anymore. Ah man, this is the 4th turn. If we... There's no way out, right? We could pay 2 to get a blocker, and then we get to... Let's see, if we play Explorer, we get a Lily Pad, play Lily Pad for a Chum Blocker, and then we have Strangle up. That means we have 2 Blocker and Strangle. That means we can deal with 2 Bolt Spasms and a Goat. That's our out here. For 4 resources. So we play Explorer. Do we have a Lily Pad? Here we don't, and then we die. Alright. The weirdest keep. Just 1. You just need Lasgar's Vengeance. 1 resource Lasgar's Vengeance and Goat, and you're good. That's the moral of the story. Let's try it one more time. Mamayati, 2 Ruby Shard, Matriarch, Goat, Matriarch, Outlaw. That works. That certainly works. So, Ruby, Matriarch, Goat, Matriarch, Outlaw. Wild Blood, Runir, Wild. Yeah, that works. That works. So, Wild Blood, Runir, Hierophant, Wild Pa, Naive Lackey, and Gift. So which one? Well, technically Angus won. I know I'm not doing reserves right now. I just want to figure out the sequencing on the cards for the main decks. So let's use Shoku on the play. Yeah, because Angus was on the play last time, and so let's do Shoku on the play this time around. Hey Pudding, how are you doing tonight? Let's do Shoku on the play right now. So on the play here, we're going to go Blood Lackey, Naive Lackey, and now having a 1-drop on turn 1 against Angus with Goat is very, very, very strong. Like, this is exactly what you want to be doing. That makes so big of a difference, having 1-drops if you expect to be fighting Goats. Even if they have 0 attack, it makes a really big difference. So this is, like, we have 1 Naive Lackey in the list, but this is the best opener we can ever ask for. Let's see, now we do draw a card. This would be Outlaw. We play a Ruby and a Goat, and then we swing with the Goat. goes up to 1. Naivlaki blocks, and the gold goes back to end. We'll figure it out. I'll tag it as B for back. Alright, so turn 2. Blood and Naivlaki are out. We get a white shard. There's nothing much we can do here. We're just playing a wild, going to 2 charges. Blood wild. Health is 19. Health is 17. This is 1 ruby. This is 1. And hey, thanks for the hosting, guys. Appreciate it. Where do we go with that? Yeah, there's nothing much, right? Do we create a drilling here? We have Pavya's again, so yes, we do create a drilling. And this is going to be 1. And this is going to be 16. So turn 2 for Angus. Go 1 is back into hand. So this is not in play anymore. And we add an outlaw here. And remove a ruby shard. Okay, that works. And we draw Lasgar's Vengeance. Hey, hey, hey. We're going to play ruby shard, and we don't play the goat there, we just play the outlaw. So outlaw, and then we attack with the outlaw. Gets blocked. Yeah, it gets blocked. Okay, so this dies, and we draw an MC. Oh, that's interesting. That's really good. Oh, we don't have anything to sacrifice next turn though. That's a shame. That's a real shame. Okay, so we did drew an MC. Oh, during their turn they attacked. Okay. And this one is exhausted. The diligence trigger will be in place. So we're at 2, we're at ruby, and then we pass the turn. I guess we always keep the charges, because Pavya's can. Do we plan on Pavya's for 4 with the Dreadlings, or we just plan for... we had Runir Yorfan in hand, so we clearly wanted to keep the threshold. Yeah, attacking with the Dreadling was a mistake, so let's just change that. I want to do the deck. I want to see the deck when it works, right? So let's try for it. So we didn't use our charge power last turn, because we all did Runir Yorfan for turn 3 and then play a Dreadling. That's way better line. Than just using it for Pavya's at some point. So, and then we drew MC, and that's just better. So let's see our MC on turn 3 feels like with sacrifice. Naivlaki is dead. We have 1 in the crypt. Wild we drew, and then we have MC in the end. So MC. And then we draw an Explorer. You know what? All these ends previously where we had a ton of Explorers, we only have 1 in the list. Oh, that's why you need to be careful with these kinds of, this is very like, do it yourself kind of thing, right? Where the random is not that great, and it does provide you with some information on the matches and how they proceed, but you need to be very careful with the conclusions that you derive from something like this. This is the perfect example. Like previous game, we played 3 Explorers, but there's only 1 in the list. It's just that we keep hitting it on the random. So you need to be very careful with these things while you test. I don't think it would have changed anything, and I don't think we ever played more than one explorer in a single game anyway. But the explorers could have been other cards that might have changed the matchup. So that's something to be very careful with. Well, that's okay, right? This is our first explorer, so that's good. We have a blood and a white threshold. We'd like another blood, but we don't have one, so we're going to play wild first. Getting this to 3, and then double white. There's no way we're not... Do we? Yeah, we're playing MC, right? We're just creating a Dreadling, and we're playing MC. And now we have the sacrifice gem on MC, so we're playing a 2-drop, which is a 5/5. So MC as a 5/5 on the board, and then pass the turn. That's super strong. Like even on turn 3, like a 5/5 on turn 3 is very, very good. And this is something with this list that can happen on turn 2. Like turn 2 MC is going to win games. We'll see what happens next over on the side of Angus. Alright, so Vengeance is... Oh, okay, so Vengeance is now 7. This is... Whoops. Vengeance is now 7, and we remove one of the outlaw. We remove the ruby, and now outlaw readies, and when it readies, we have a choice. We have a choice to create a valor on transforming him into a Scarlet Swordsman. That, when it attacks, deals 2 damage to 1 opposing troop and 1 champion. Do we want a valor in this situation? Because we're facing a 5/5 right now. We have a 2/2. We have a goat. We have Mama Yetis, and we have another outlaw. We'd like to continue to attack. And I'm guessing that we don't get to draw the card before we decide. Because if we get anything that does 3 damage to a troop, like a fireball, then we can attack into MC and kill it with the fireball. Lose the outlaw, but still do 2 damage to our opponent. I guess this is where we go. So this one becomes Scarlet, and since it becomes Scarlet, we don't create a valor and put it into our hand, but when it attacks, it's going to do damage. So that's the first step, and then we draw a ruby shard. Okay. Okay, so we do play the ruby shard. Go up to 3. We could run the goat into MC to lower Vengeance. We could just play goat, play outlaw, attack with everything. MC eats the outlaw. Scarlet lives, does 2 damage to the champion, 2 damage for Scarlet, and 2 damage for goat. That's 6 damage. We do lose the outlaw, but then again, Vengeance is now costing very low. And we have Memoyetes and Matriarch on the end. The other line would be to play the Matriarch and don't attack. But I feel that Lasgar's Vengeance is going to be the key here, and getting the goat on the board with the other outlaw feels like the right way to do things at this point. So, goat 1 and outlaw. So we have goat, which will be 2 when attacking, and outlaw. And outlaw will die in MC, and Scarlet will we'll say Scarlet 0 because the 1-shot is used, and then that's going to be 2 plus 2 plus 2, so that's 6 down to 13, and Vengeance is down to 4. We still have a 2/1 in play, and we still have the goat in play. That feels like a decent turn. Let's see what we do next on this side of the board. There's no blocker though. And next turn could hit hard. Okay. So we're doing this. So MC5 is there. Remove wild and MC here. Add the explorer. And then what do we draw? We draw Aerofall. We play wild. We cannot play Aerofall. That's a pain. We could play Runir, Hierophant, play resource. We'd be left with one resource for the turn, but we'd have a Runir Hierophant as a 3/3 that could attack. Well, actually, if we attack with everything, we would do 3 for Hierophant, 5 for MC, 1 for the Dreadling. That would be 9 plus 1 because of the Underworld gem in Runir. That's 10 damage. We could do 10 on this turn, but next turn we could just die. Like 4, 3, 5, that's 8 on the... Like, if there's one resource, we're looking at 8 plus whatever attacks on the next turn. If it has speed, like a Matriarch or a Mama Yeti. Mama Yeti would be 4 plus 5, that's 9. Mama Yeti is a kill, so we cannot afford to attack. Not yet. We need blockers, but we have a good blocker for Mama Yeti though. We'd like to have more blockers. So do we go Explorer or do we go Runir Hierophant? I feel that we're going Runir Hierophant here. So we're playing wild. We're playing Runir Hierophant with a Dreadling. So Runir Hierophant is going to be 3. The Dreadling will come in 16. And we're at 0. There's 2 in the crypt. And this is another wild. And do we attack with MC to draw a Suggeted card on our next turn? I feel we don't. And if we get in the back foot next turn, we can always pop Yazukan and kill something. I guess that's our fallback plan for now. So let's go on to Angus. Angus, we draw Ruby, we play the Ruby, so that's negated. Goat is on the board. Outlaw is on the board. So we remove Goat and Outlaw from the end. And that's it. Remove the Outlaw that died. And then we draw a card. Mama Yeti. No Ruby. That's the... yeah, okay. That's possible. So let's see. The only thing we can play in this position is we cannot play Laskar's Vengeance. So in this situation, I'm tempted just to attack with Goat. And then Laskar's Vengeance. If we do that, we don't kill MC. Attack with Scarlet. But it might just gets blocked by Runir Hierophant. The problem if we Laskar's Vengeance this turn is that MC doesn't die, and that's a problem. So I think we're just playing Matriarch here and passing the turn. Goat cannot block, but that's an attacker. And next turn, if we play a Ruby Shard, we've got a ton of pressure. And we have chump blockers. I mean, there's a decent amount of damage on the board right now. That's not to be underestimated. Like 5, 9. If opponent plays another Ruby, Runir Hierophant with speed, which they already shown they had, we'd be looking at nearly close to 16 damage in total. So definitely cannot put... Angus cannot put his guard down right now, so let's just play Matriarch and pass the turn. We could attack with Goat, lower his Vengeance to 3, so that we can pre-combat Vengeance next turn. Oh, actually, I like that. Attack with Goat, get Goat 3 back into the end, and get Vengeance to 3. That will work, right? I like this line. That will work. So Vengeance goes down to 3. Goat is back into hand. However, next turn we're guaranteed to use we can attack with Matriarch and Scarlet into Laskar's Vengeance to clean the board. And Matriarch might be a 4/4. And yeah, I guess that works. MC is doing quite a bit of work right now. There's Mama Yeti coming in as well, but 5/5 here is so strong. X5 is really what you want. Okay, so let's see. This. Wild and Runir Hierophant. Hero goes back to hand. Wild and Runir Hierophants are out. And we draw a card. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. We don't have the shard to play Yazukan this turn, and we don't have another blood shard, so this is really the Explorer's turn. So we start with Explorer, see what we draw. Blood shard, well, that is perfect. So we play the blood shard. We get 1. We play another blood shard. We have excess. We still have 3 resources open and hero falling hand, so we're very unlikely to lose this one. We got an Explorer in play. Runir Hierophant is now 4. And do we still play defense? I'm tempted to just attack into Scarlet and Matriarch with a 4/4 Runir Hierophant, but then again, let's just wait here and see what happens. I don't think Shoku with 13 health, waiting on Mama Yeti with an arrow fall in hand. I think that's one of the best lines you can do. Let's see what Angus can pull out at this point. That's a very close game. I like this. Like this build of Shoku, like EmseeUC right there, seems to be like we've seen the good Angus hands are really good, right? They tend to win the game really fast, and the other decks doesn't have really much to do on the play, but that's the real appeal to play a deck like that, like a very aggressive deck. And it certainly seems to be the case even with the Scars of War update to Angus. So I feel fairly confident that this update at the very least is most likely not optimal, but it's still performing very well. It is being very, very aggressive, and from what we've seen so far, I know it's only 2 games, but it doesn't feel like it loses much of its velocity. It might even be faster because of the goats and because of the Ruby's favor. So really feels like the Angus deck right now that we have in hand, our update, should be reflective of the general speed of the new Angus, right? And we've got this new build that we're testing for standard that feels great. Like we can put up a fight. We can most definitely pull up a fight, and that's what I wanted to see. That's what I want to make sure, right? MC works great. Runir Hierophant with speed can really get up on an up card. Like Angus doesn't have a lot of health, and if they provide you with a turn to swing and they don't kill you on the crackback, they'll be stuck on defense. And MC on second turn as a 5/5 is great. Crusader on turn 3 is very good. It's still very good, nonetheless. And then we have Pavyazukan to, you know, if there's exchange, you can remove something and do a 2-for-1 with Pavyazukan. So I think that the list is as enough, right? We didn't end up with Strangle so far, but it certainly feels like it would play the right role. We might remove one of the Pavyazukan for one more Strangle to run 4 Hero Falls and 4 Strangle. I could definitely see that. We're running 4 Lily Pads and 4 Well of the Ancients. Since we're running Strangle and Hero Falls, and maybe one more Strangle in the main deck, like 4-4 with 8 straight up removal, might want to play a Shard of... we won't be able to play Shard of Ancient. We won't. So that's about the maximum amount of fixing we get right now. Unless there's a new cycle of uncommon resources that fix threshold that we didn't see before. We could run Shard Prisms instead of Well of Ancient, Shard of Ancients. That could be a consideration. Like maybe we, because we don't do much on turn 1, so having a few 0-1 resources shouldn't be that bad. We've got a decent amount of 3-drops, like a full set of Runeers and Underworld Crusaders. So on turn 3, we even have Pesky Pipit on 3 and Nefarious Corruptor as well. So we're stuck on 3-drops, right? 2-drops, this is where we lack. We don't have a ton. 2 and 1-drops, we've got 9. So removing a Pavyazukan for a 2-drop removal makes sense. I'd rather play one more troop though. So what would be the other 2-drops that we could play that are very good against... Well, I don't want to screw the main deck too much against Angus, but that's enemy number 1, right? That's public enemy number 1. That's the... Right now, Angus is the barrier. Feels like Angus is the barrier to entry for constructed. Like if you... Well, you do expect to run into some. And even more so, like early on in formats, decks that does really well are aggressive decks because they are proactive and they're fast. So players are trying a lot of different brews, and the meta is not defined yet. So there's a lot of weird stuff going on, and the most consistent, fastest decks always are the best bet. So right now I'm trying to, you know, to one up the early aggressive Angus meta by running a deck that does okay against it and might even be favorable for all we know, and would also do well. It's still very proactive, but as you know, more late game appeal with the Dark Hearts, and there's a lot of control, right? We've got Pavyazukan, we've got tons of removal from random things going on. We don't have a lot of transform effect though with the list. Random aspect of the squirrel. We played it in one game, it felt really great. Pesky Pipit can certainly win games later on. Crypt Curse Knight. MC wins games like a 5-5 that does provide some card draw at some point. Even late game, 5-5 for 2 on the board is never really a waste. It might not be what you're looking for, but that is strong. Like we've got Gallows Cast as well. The one thing is that we're starting with a low health pool of 19, but 19 is not that far from 20, right? I'm really loving this deck here. It might not turn out to be something, but like the best removal available with very good early threats that puts a lot of pressure on the opponent. We have enough flight. We can blood flight, and we've got some late game with Groundskift, Dark Heart, Gallows Cast, Roadpad Gang. Actually, I might Yazukan. Like we're doing a lot of great stuff there. We don't have the recursion of playing a Kagulichu deck. However, we there's a lot of space in the reserves as well. We've got some nice new cards for the reserves. We've got the spoilers are there. We could even, I don't think this is a Bride of the Damned deck, but we're certainly playing a lot of blood sources, right? Possible blood sources, we've got 16. That starts to be in a conversation for 5 blood threshold at some point later in the game. Maybe for the control matchups. We're running a decent amount of removal, like 7 removals with 4 Pavyazukan. That would translate to, what, 11 removals? So Bride is not out of question. From the reserve, we can add something like Blood's Favor to draw cards, although we don't have a lot of health, so that great. What else from the new cards? Like, I don't think there's other cards. We could very well be running Zengtak's Hunger, though. Gaining 4 health and sacrificing a troop to draw 2 cards. That sounds like a good plan when you can create Dreadlings on demand. We could run Zorat's Rectory as well. I think it's too low of power level for that. What do we have in the wild? We've got well, Aspect of the Squirrel. I think I'd like to run more, like 1 more. It's so good. Like with the Intimidation gem, you just give +3/+3 and Intimidate to a troop. You're going to win, and like any troop, right? We've got MC as a 5/5. We've got that enables Crunch. We've got Crusaders, and we've got Hierophant as our main threat. So any of these targeted with Aspect of the Squirrel with Intimidate is just going to win a game on the spot. Like 7/7 Crusaders, scaling Hierophants. We're speaking about an 8/8 MC as well. I don't think there's not a lot of lines where we can play MC into Aspect of the Squirrel, but still, that's still very scary with Intimidate. Draka could even play Earth Mother, but it's not what we want to be doing. No, when you draw a card, gain resource. I don't think so. Skyguard, revert and transform target troop into a Trashodon. Deploy conscript an underwater troop with +1. When a troop you control with +1 attacks, this gets +1/+1. No. When this attacks room, nope. I could see us running this 3-drop, like it blocks as a 5/5 it blocks Mama Yeti as a 5/5 when you are on the draw, which is very, very good. Like against Mama Yeti, if you play a 3-drop that is 5/5, then they play Mama Yeti and they just ram into it. So that's very good, and on the next turn it becomes a 4/4, but you do get a Dreadling. I think we might be... I really like this. This guy here in Wild is going to be played and constructed. I like the timing. Might be just in the reserves against Angus, but if you're playing against Angus and you're... No, we don't know yet. They just say that it would be delayed. It was supposed to start on February 10, and it was delayed because of the patch that they're not doing, and they're not providing us with any update, which is a bit frustrating at this point. But technically today was President's Day, and from what I gathered over in the US, there's a lot of people that are on vacation. It's a semi-holiday. It's a working holiday for government employees and for a portion of the rest. So depending on the state, at least that's my understanding. So it might just be that today was some kind of an holiday for the office and they didn't really push forward. We also know that they wanted to do a maintenance early this week, that we may or may not lose our emails. So maybe they, usually on a Monday we do get an update, and today we didn't. Like the update was supposed to come out at 1 p.m. as it always does, very time on the spot, and it didn't. And like 1.5 hours after that, we got a preview card. So my guess is that they wanted to provide an update, and they were waiting on something, some kind of decision, and the decision didn't came, and they didn't do the update, and they sent a spoiler instead. Like that's my best guess. Guess here. So this would be my guess. So hopefully things. I didn't check if we lost our emails today. I don't think I lost my emails today. Yeah, they're still there in the game. It's been a while since I relogged into the game, but I don't think anyone lost their emails right now. So I don't know. It's really late. Like the Cosmic Crown Showdown is not this weekend, but the weekend after that. And people that are working towards it are already qualified. They really need to know if they need to account for set 6 or not in their testing. It does change the efforts that you're putting into the testing right there. And even if there's something going on and they don't plan to release the game, the set before the Cosmic Crown Showdown, I feel that they need to provide this information to the players who are going to compete in it. At least at least 2 weeks in advance. Like, you're not going to have set 6. Prepare for no set 6. That would be like significant, right? Because if you're currently planning for the Cosmic Crown Showdown and you don't even know if we're going to have set 6 or not, that's very weird. And looking at the calendar, it feels like if they release set 6, it would need to be next Tuesday for it to be into next Tuesday, or maybe like Thursday. So people have 1 week to prepare for Cosmic Crown Showdown. Maybe. I don't know. I feel like one way or the other they need to provide us with at least, if not a release date, a statement that says if we're going to have set 6 with the Cosmic Crown Showdown or not. And my guess is that they're working their darnest to make sure that we have set 6 for Cosmic Crown Showdown. It's just better for the game. It's better for the publicity of the game and everything. But clearly things are not working like they would like over at the office. The delay on today's, like the cryptic message about a backend maintenance for early this week, without any additional information, but that may or may not affect the email, and the Monday update that we've seen for weeks now on the spot at 1 every week for at least 4 weeks, and all of a sudden we don't have anything, and 1.5 hours after that we get a spoiler. That feels like, something's going on and it's not going well. So hopefully we'll get more news and better news than what I expect tomorrow. Technically the other news day for the spoiler season is on Wednesday, so maybe we don't get anything tomorrow, but we do get something on Wednesday. We'll see. I've heard something is coming that might explain it. Yeah, well, definitely, there's absolutely no gain for X Entertainment to delay the release for, smaller things. Like, it right now there's a delay, so and it really feels like set 6 has been ready for a while. So my personal assumption is that set 6 and the new immortal queues and everything has been sorted out for these things, and we've had the previews, and really feels like they've ironed out all the details for them. So right now we're not getting the release, and we've been delayed for the release for a few weeks from what appeared to be a sensible timeline. So my personal guess is that we're getting a major feature with a new patch as well with, in addition to the other things that we've been spoiled, and that this is what's delaying the patch. The other scenario is that there's no additional significant feature to the game with the patch, but there's a very crippling bug with the new patch that they've yet to fix, and this is why they're delaying and they're not providing updates. Like, to me, these are the two scenarios that can happen. I really feel that the first one is the likelier scenario, that we're getting a delay because they're going to add a major new feature to the game and it's going to be awesome. That's what I'd like to think. But it could just be that there's a major bug with set 6 that they cannot fix. Hopefully we'll know more Wednesday. It's become like it's really late. We're at the point where like this delay is raising a lot of concern with their ability to deliver content on a schedule, and this is becoming a problem for the game. And the game is going. I mean, we've got a great game in our hand, but X needs to be able to figure out the pipeline, and this is the most difficult thing. And if you, I've read and watched many interviews with people working on Magic the Gathering, for instance. The most important thing, you need to have your pipeline and you need to be releasing content on date. You can have a crappy software, you can have a lot of bugs and meta crippling bugs in your client. You need to just deliver new content on schedule. That is what keeps you alive. And in the case of Magic, they don't have a choice, but because they have the paper products that are being delivered, so they have to deliver the digital product roughly at the same time, right? X, we don't have that, but they need to figure out a regular pipeline, or the game is just going to fade out. For a competitor that will get in, that will be newer, that will have the same kind of features, that would be cooler, and X will just fade out. So hopefully we get new, at least information on what's going to happen soon, but that's what it is. What I'm hearing is nothing to do with X. Oh, that's very interesting though. No, that's okay. I mean, well, you know what? That is another option. So I mentioned a delay could be caused by a major bug. It could be caused by a major feature that they really want to get into the patch. And this is so important and so significant for the game that it is worth it waiting for it. The third scenario, I guess, would be that there's an outside force preventing the release. Maybe something like, I guess, a change in distributor would likely affect the release date. A partnership with a third party that is not yet, that is very, very big, but not yet ready to go live, could be something like that. But it makes me wonder, like, let's fantasize a bit. Which, if X would be to partner with a third party, any third party, which one would be the one you'd like to see X partnering with? No, nothing. They never announced that they would announce the release date today. It's just that during spoiler season, what we've seen with Adventure Zone 2, and what we've seen for at least a month now with the spoiler season for set 6, is that the instead of getting a Friday update, we get a Monday and a Wednesday update, and we get a Friday recap. And this is what's been going on for the last 4 weeks at the minimum. And since we've been, this from the start of the spoiler season, and with the amount of cards that have been spoiled so far, and with the features that have been spoiled so far, it really felt that we were very, very, very close to a release date announcement. And people, were expecting it last Friday. It didn't came. So, next Monday was the next logical, time frame where we could have had the release date, and it was today. And what happened today was really weird, because usually we get an update on the spot, like at 1 p.m. Eastern time, and they are on the spot, like every week, 1 p.m. on the spot, on the Monday, on the Wednesday, on the Friday, always at 1 p.m. Eastern time, always on the spot. And today at 1, there were no update. And we waited, and at 2 to 30 or something like that, 1 hour and a half, we got a exporter, like a basic exporter. Now, if that basic exporter was meant to release normally today, it would have been released at 1. So they had something else planned, and they waited, and they were not able to do the announcement, and they did a sport instead. That's my read on the situation. Like, I'm no psychic. That's just me looking at everything that happened. That's what makes sense to me. Because the big immortal feature followed by nothing is really weird. With the amount of supporters that we have right now, we're past all of the set at this point that has been supported. Like, what's the size of the set? That set 6 would be 250 to 75 maybe. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40, 1, 2, 3, 4, 40 times 44 times 3 plus the remaining cards. Like, we've got, are we close to the full set right now? We've got 150. We've got about 150 cards right now, plus like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Like, we've got about roughly 160 cards spoiled so far. Oh, it's more than 120. It's a lot more than 120. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 47 times 3. 47 times 3 plus 12. That means we're at 150. Yeah, we're 153 cards right now. Spoiled so far. Like, something like 153. That has to be more than half the set. I can't imagine that the spoiler season will continue until we're at 2/3 of the set, right? It doesn't make sense. They're spoiling things and they're just releasing the full spoiler over like 2 months. Even with the current pace, like, they've been spoiling more than 10 cards a week. It might even be 20 cards a week right now. It's like 153 over 4 weeks of spoiler. Is that where we're at right now? It's more or less 4 weeks of spoiler, right? It's like 38 cards spoiled per week. Is it 4 weeks? It might be more than that. Spoiler started. When did the spoiler start? Let's see. When did the spoiler start? Arbor Day. This was the announcement, right? This was for yeah. This is like last 23rd of January. Okay, so that's a 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's 4 weeks. 4 weeks spoilers. The pace at which we're going right now is about nearly 40 cards spoiled a week. Like, if we continue down that pace, in 2 weeks we have the full set. Like, we'll be at 200. In 2 weeks we'll be at full set. Like, if we continue the pace of the spoilers right now, in 2 weeks we'll be more or less, we'll be fairly close to the full set. Like, we'll be 80 cards more than what we are right now. We'd be at 230. Like, the set is about 250. So 3 weeks tops, and we have a full spoiler in our hand for the new set. So clearly, when they started the spoiler season and the pace at which they planned the spoilers was meant for a release roughly this week, next week. This is what makes sense. So it's really very interesting. You know, clearly something's going on, and I can't wait for them to share. They don't stretch the spoiler. That's the thing, right? They don't stretch the spoiler thin. They're spoiling 40 cards a week. That's not being thin. That's not stretching out. That's racing through the spoilers. It's like a sprint. So yeah, something's up. That's I think the one thing is clear, that something's up, and hopefully we get more news on Wednesday. Maybe we're very lucky and they have a breakthrough and we get something on tomorrow. But the next obvious spot for us to get any news about what's going on is next Wednesday. Last spoiler season was about a month, and it should be like at the pace we're getting spoilers. After a month, you have off the set, and then you stop the spoiler season. You announce the release date, you stop the spoilers, and when you get a release date or a PTR, then you get a full spoiler, and then there's a lot of new stuff, great new stuff to be discovered. But at this point, like, we have more than half the set right now, so when the full list comes, it's going to be good. I mean, we're going to be happy, but it's not going to be the hype that it could be. Like, you want this to be a two-step process, right? You get a lot of hype with the spoilers, and then you get a much more hype for the full set release, and then you play with it, right? But if you get a lot of spoilers, and then you get a full set, and then you get to play with it, like, it's too long, and there's not a big feeling of, hey, we're getting new stuff, and this is crazy, right? So spoiler season with more than a month in duration is not good, and they clearly didn't meant for it to last more than a month either way. So I personally expected an announcement last week, but yeah, as Motivation mentioned, if it's something outside of their control that is holding the release, but significant enough for them to wait and not give us any update, because it would tell us that, you know, what's going on, I guess. Also, you have to understand that if they would just release an announcement that would just say that they are not ready yet, and that we'll get an update about what's going on soon, it would just raise more questions, right? And it would lower the expectation of a release sooner than what we already expect. So I can see, like, if they're on the very close to a big announcement, but they're not ready yet, they don't necessarily want to announce that they're not ready, and then on the next day do the big announcement, right? They're likely in a very weird spot communication spot where things are a bit weird, but things have been weird for likely 2 weeks now. So if they would have started to warn us 2 weeks ago, then today would be another situation, but still with no set. So in the end, would that made a really big difference? I'm not quite sure. We'll see. I mean, the only thing we can do is we'll see. We can work in spreadsheets, trying to design decks for Standard and Immortal, try to figure out the evolution of the decks that we already know that works, and test the new brews against the deck that we know that works. And this is what we've done tonight. So hopefully this was useful to you guys. And don't forget that you have access to my spreadsheet for the show notes. I'll just do another link here in case you guys missed it. Oh, okay, it was posted by Mubat in the stream, but yeah, you can just go in, select the spreadsheet, use copy to, and copy it to whatever spreadsheet you have going in Google Docs, and you'll have a copy of the tab here, and you can just play with it, right? If you want to test this EmseeUC deck list with Shoku here, then go crazy. And if you do, I would appreciate it if you would provide feedback. If not, then don't provide feedback, but at the very least you get something to start with. Again, disclaimer, very important. This is a very DIY spreadsheet. There's nothing involved in that. There are ways to program here the randoms so that they do not, take the same. They do not point to the same card. But that's not what I'm doing right now. It's a very crude random, as you can see. It's always the same scope for the random between 1 and 60, and it selects this group of values there. So some amount of the time, as we've seen in the stream, for example, Instant Cottontail Explorer, we have 1 in the list, but we have had a starting end with 3, right? So you need to be careful. Like, it's not perfect, it's very crude, but it does provide value in a space where we have nothing much left to do but to try and figure things out. This preparation work does have value, though. It does provide you with information on the line of plays. It provides you with information to know if your deck is flowing well with the draws and the cards played. To a certain degree, it does provide you with information against the known quantities as well. So it's really useful to do that. It's just a way, if you don't have any way to track the deck list ideas that you have, why we don't have site like XTCG browser with full deck list. It's really just very simple, right? You write a deck list, you write card names for every slot on the 60 line, and then you have a deck, and then you can do just a simple random here to generate ends. And as long as you're careful about what you're doing and you understand what's going on, you can generate value out of it. And all the big teams, all the serious players, they do that. They have some ways to simulate games. The ones that are working with paper products, they print proxies. Champions of Magic, for instance, with their teams, when there's a new set that is being released, as soon as there's a spoiler season, they print a ton of proxies and they start testing. They don't need the actual cards to test, they just need proxies, right? That's the same thing that we're doing here, but we're doing digitally. We're not. This is essentially our proxies to work decks with. This doesn't have the same feel, right? Because you're not playing against another player, but you can do this with yourself, and if you're careful, you can generate some nice results. And right now, I've been doing it on the stream, so people can have different opinions or then see other things that you're not seeing and provide feedback. And this is where you get some constructive information on your deck ideas and the new meta to come, right? Again, we know that Angus is the barrier to entry of the 2 new formats. In fact, like, early on in the new format, things are going to be aggressive, consistent decks are going to win and they're going to lead, right? And we've seen it with every release in Hex, and it's no different from other games as well. So you want to prepare for set 6 release, and you want to compete in Immortal Queues or in the ladder. Well, you need to be prepared for aggressive decks, and right now the best and most consistent one, the fastest and most consistent one, is Angus. So right now your bar should be Angus. Like, if you create a deck for the first 2 weeks of the new format, how do you handle Angus? And if you don't have a good matchup against Angus, just play Angus. Let the other ones figure out, and while they figure it out, you'll accumulate a ton of wins. And if you're playing Immortal, you accumulate a lot of Immortal tokens to participate in the big tournaments, in the big X Prize tournaments. And if you're not playing Immortal and you're playing the ladder, it's the same thing. We're going to get a new ladder with March. So that means, well, hopefully we get a new set for March, but right now it's becoming very unlikely that we get it for March 1st. We would need a release March 28th. I guess that's still possible. If the rumor is true, let's just say it like that. If the rumor is true, and it's an outside force that is preventing X from releasing, that would mean that they are ready. So assuming that they are ready, and whatever outside forces is holding them gets solved, right? They have the go, and they are ready. They could release the set really quickly. So maybe if tomorrow or Wednesday they get a confirmation that they can move forward, we might even see a release before the end of the month. That's fairly thin right now. It's very unlikely. So we'll see. Can't wait to hear about what's going on though, because clearly something's going on. We just don't know what's going on, and that's a shame. But I'm guessing I have to guess or hope that we'll know soon enough. Alright guys, that was CoachFliperon signing off for the night. Thank you for joining. As always, you'll find a recording in my stream archives. You'll find on YouTube as well. And I'm very active on Twitter. I just retweet everything that I see that's related to X that would provide value or is funny for any player interested in the game. So if you want a centralized source of information related to X on Twitter, just follow mine, and you won't have to follow a dozen or 50 person on Twitter. You just follow mine and you get all the news related to X. So take care guys, have a great night, see you tomorrow, and maybe another bonus stream this week if work would allow. So take care guys.